Hello everyone, welcome to Kubernetes session. This is the first session of Kubernetes. In this session, we are going to learn what is Kubernetes and where we will use Kubernetes in our real life projects. Also, we will see what are the advantages of Kubernetes and what are the advanced features in Kubernetes. So guys, I'm telling you again and again, Kubernetes is very important tool in a DevOps culture. So if you are perfect in Kubernetes, if you are master in Kubernetes, you no need to change the technology coming 15, 20 years. I'm sure about that. Because no client is accepting production deployments without Kubernetes. So that is the importance of Kubernetes in DevOps culture nowadays. Yeah. And one more thing. Anyway, I'm going to explain what all are the advanced features we will have in Kubernetes. So before starting Kubernetes session, first we will discuss about Docker session, what we learned in Docker session. We'll just recap. Yeah. In Docker session, we learned what is the Docker and what are the differences between VMs and containers. What are the advantages of containers? Also, we learned how to create a Docker image and where we need to use Docker image. And we learned what are the persistent volumes, how to create, how to use it. Also, we learned how to containerize the application. So that is the main goal in Docker session. So our main goal was in Docker session was how to containerize the application, how to deploy the application in containers. So we learned all these things. Fine. Now, there are some challenges in Docker containers. So there are some challenges in application containerization. So that means, so if you want to run an application in containers, we need thousands of containers. Thousands of containers we need. So they're bit difficult to maintain those containers manually. So that's where Kubernetes comes into the picture. So Kubernetes is a container orchestration or container management tool you can see here. Kubernetes short form is K8S. K8S means there's not something new. K means first letter in Kubernetes, S is last letter. In between K and S, there are 8 characters are there. So in short form, we'll call K8S. Also, we will see what are the types of Kubernetes in this session. We will just see what types of Kubernetes are available. Fine. So let us start Kubernetes session. So first we'll see what is Kubernetes. Here you can see I've written already. Kubernetes is a container orchestration or container management tool. If anybody asks you, describe Kubernetes in a single sentence, you just tell Kubernetes is a container management tool or container orchestration tool. So you should understand what is the meaning of container orchestration or container management. So for that, if you want to understand that management or orchestration, first you should know where exactly we will use Kubernetes in a real life project. I will do one thing. I will just draw this diagram end-to-end flow diagram. Then you will understand where exactly you will use Kubernetes in a real life projects. Yeah, let me just draw this. Yeah. So this is development team. Already in previous sessions, we just drawn this diagram and I explained. So this is Git or any version control system. And here Jenkins will be there. And here test environment servers will be there. And this is production environment. Fine. Now, what we will do, we'll just connect to each other. I will write these names, then you will understand clearly. Yeah, let me just write the names. Yeah, fine. Here, development team will be there. That means dev team. So this is GitHub or Git or Git server. Fine. This is Jenkins. This is test environment. So some single server will be there or multiple servers will be there. Yeah, this is production environment. Fine. Now, here Git repositories will be there. Already in Git session, we just discussed deeply. Yeah, fine. This is a Git repository. Let me just assign some name to this Git repository. Here, since we're working for a Flipkart project, just assume that Flipkart.git. If I name it, if I assign the name Flipkart to this repository, automatically it will take extension .git since it's a Git repository. Fine. Now, what this development team will do, development team will be doing code. So just assume that we are just working for Flipkart project. We are developing this Flipkart project in a Java. So from starting onwards, we are taking this Flipkart as an example. So same thing I'm continuing in this Kubernetes session also. Fine. Now, development team will be writing .java files. So let's say, for example, 100 developers are there in our Flipkart team. 100 developers will be writing always new code, or sometimes they will be modifying the existing code. When they will write a new code, whenever they want to introduce new features, they will be writing new code. Whenever they want to fix the bugs, they will be modifying the existing code to fix the bugs. Okay, fine. Now, .java files, multiple files will be written. So because always they will be writing. Once they write the code, what they will do, they will just push this code into Git repositories. From here, Jenkins will clone it. Yeah. In Jenkins session, I clearly explained how we will clone the code from Git repositories by using Polacem method or webhook method we will be using. Already I discussed, I showed practically. I hope you also practiced. Fine. Now here, we will generate the builds. We will generate the build in a Jenkins machine. Fine. With help of Maven tool, build tool. Fine. Now let me just write here. Yeah. Again, here we will install Git and Maven Flipkart.war file. So this is the build. We will generate the build. Once you generate the build, what we will do, we will just deploy this build in a test environment server. Here, we need to install prerequisites. Prerequisites means what are the softwares we require to run this build or application. We need to install it. OS means operating system. So let us say we're just going with a Linux operating system. So that depends on the version compatibility. So for example, if this application, if this build is compatible with the operating system Linux or Red Hat 8 version, we need to maintain that version. Version also matters. Again, JDK. JDK means Java. For example, Java 21. Java 21 is the latest version now. Java 21 is compatible with this build. So we need to maintain same versions in production environment also. Okay, fine. Yeah, now, so you will get an experience. Don't worry. Now, JDK. Then again, we need one Tomcat server. All these we already discussed, we practiced. Okay, practically I showed you Tomcat server. Then inside this Tomcat server, we will deploy Flipkart.war file, where we will deploy this Flipkart.war file inside Tomcat server in web apps folder, because web apps is the default deployment path for Tomcat server. So again, I'm repeating this because this is very important. So sometimes they will ask in interview also. Then once you deploy Flipkart.war file or any war file or build in Tomcat server, we need to start the Tomcat server. Start Tomcat. Once you start Tomcat server, automatically your application or build will start running, because this is inside this. Fine. Same thing. Let me just separate this line so that it will be clear. Yeah, here JDK, Tomcat, and this. Please practice these sessions on regularly, daily basis. Yeah, fine. So here also in production environment also, we will do same thing. Forget about Kubernetes. Let me just take you slowly. Okay. So yeah. And now same thing we will do here also. We'll just repeat that steps. That's it. Operating system. 1 second. Yeah, this is sometimes. Yeah, GDK. This alignment is very difficult. Yeah, here's Tomcat, and inside this Tomcat, click var. Once you deploy, you will start Tomcat server, then automatically your application will start running. Yeah, fine. So this is the production environment. This is the test environment. Now I hope you understood. In CI/CD process, we went in deeply in this in these changes. We've done practically also. Fine. Now this is the process we need to follow. This is the end-to-end flow of the project. Fine. So till here you have already done. In Maven session you have done, in a Jenkins session also you have done practically. But only difference is in Jenkins session we have used only virtual servers here. We have used virtual servers in test environment. Even if you want, you can just build a production environment also with the virtual servers by following the same process, same method. Fine. In a Docker session, what we have done, in Docker session, we have used Docker containers. Instead of VMs, we used containers. That means we containerized the application. You just recap Docker session. This is very, very important. So you must understand Docker. You must practice Docker to understand Kubernetes. Both are interrelated, I told you. Fine. Now, here in Docker session, we deployed our application in containers. So let us assume that this is one container. Container or VM, both are same. Container also is a complete server like a VM. We have discussed so many times from beginning. Fine. So this is container 1. Just assume that this is container 1. Again, one container is not enough, right? We need to deploy the application in production environment in hundreds, thousands of containers. We require thousands of containers to run the application. Fine. Now, what we will do, we will create one more container. This is one container. Again, this is one more container. Like this, 1,000 containers, 2,000 containers. Based on the load, we will be adding the containers. Fine. From where we will create these containers? From Docker image. In Docker session, clearly we practiced, clearly I explained, so what is Docker image and how to create a Docker image and how to use Docker image to containerize the application. We have done everything. Fine. Here, with help of, by using a Docker image, see here, where we will keep that, where we will store that Docker image in Docker Hub. We have seen that also. We have done everything. Yeah. Now, let me just keep some time here. Yeah, this is Docker Hub. In this Docker Hub, we will store our Docker images. Fine. And now, let me draw this. Yeah, from here, for example, this is the Flipkart image. This name is Flipkart.img or whatever, -img. Usually, you will just use this thing. Before that, we need to give Docker Hub username. Fine. From here, we will just store images in Docker Hub. Fine. Now, what we will do, we will create these containers from this image. You know that. Just recall that Docker session. You will understand. Fine. Guys, here there are some challenges. Successfully, you can containerize the application by using this Docker image. That means you can create 1,000 containers or 2,000 containers from this Docker image. For example, if you create 1,000 containers, say for example, this is the Flipkart image, all these prerequisites and softwares and build, everything will be there inside this Docker image. That's what we have done in Docker session. Once you create some 1,000 containers from this image. Whatever prerequisites and applications were there in this image, so those will come into this container. So here every container, that means you can deploy your application in 1,000 containers within minutes. Fine, that is fine. But these containers may go down due to any reason. So for example, 2,000 containers are there in your production environment. Out of 2,000 containers, 2,000 containers are there. That means your application is running on 2,000 containers. For example, some 300 containers goes down. So due to any reason, it may go down. Servers may go down due to any reason. It's a regular, that is expected thing. The only thing is, whenever servers goes down or containers goes down, we need to identify them and we need to bring them back. But here, this is a big challenge. When you are working with thousands of containers, if some 300, 500 containers goes down, it's a bit difficult to identify them and to bring them back up. So that is one challenge. And the second challenge is, see, for example, now in this minute, Flipkart application, that means some load increase suddenly, immediately. Let me just explain that. For example, in this minute, in this second, some 5,000 people are using this Flipkart website per minute. 5,000 people. That's okay. Let us assume that this containers are able to serve 5,000 people. All of a sudden, just assume that load increases. If some 2,000 or 20,000 people log in next minute, so load will become more. Due to heavy load, these containers may go down, or this environment may get crash also sometimes. Users will experience slowness. So which is not acceptable. Okay. So that is the reason we need to have auto scaling capability here. Auto scaling capability. Yeah, that is one thing. And there are other challenges also there in this. When you deploy your application only in containers, so that means it's a bit difficult to manage our application in containers. So that is the reason we will just go with the Kubernetes, because Kubernetes will manage multiple containers. Kubernetes will orchestrate thousands of containers. So that is the reason we will call Kubernetes is a container orchestration tool or management tool. Fine. Guys, you should go through this. You should listen this session. You should go through this session. If you don't understand this session, so you will be working blindly in production environment with Kubernetes. So if you don't know the fundamentals of Kubernetes, whenever you get any small issue also, if you get any small issue also, it's a bit difficult to troubleshoot. So that is the reason I'm just explaining clearly. Okay, fine. Now, so that is the reason we will just use Kubernetes. We will use Kubernetes here. Even you can use Kubernetes in test environment also. Fine. Just at a very high level, I just explained here. Yeah, Kubernetes. Kubernetes is not a single server. We will not deploy. We can't install Kubernetes in single server. Kubernetes is a cluster. Multiple servers we need. For example, this is the Kubernetes cluster. Just assume that. I will show you. I will just draw this Kubernetes architectural diagram and I will explain in next session. Don't worry. Then you will understand clearly. Okay. So this is the Kubernetes cluster. All these and one thing is, let me just draw clearly. All these three servers will be in one cluster. Again, this server will be connecting with this cluster. Don't worry, I will just draw in separate screen. I will just show you.
On top of this cluster, these containers will be running. So this is where Kubernetes will be used. We'll use Kubernetes. Fine. I hope you understood where we will use Kubernetes, what is the purpose of Kubernetes, and what are the advantages of it. There are a lot of advantages of Kubernetes. I will just explain in next video. Don't worry, I will just draw the Kubernetes architectural diagram and I will explain you. Then you will understand clearly. And now we will see the advantages of Kubernetes. What are the advantages of Kubernetes? We will see. Kubernetes will have, if any container goes down here, in Kubernetes terminology, we will not call this containers. We will call it as a parts. I will just explain later. Don't worry. So as of now, you just think as a containers only. Okay, fine. Now, if any containers goes down in production environment, which are running in on top of Kubernetes, Kubernetes will bring them back up automatically. So without manual intervention. That is that feature is called self-healing capability. Self-healing capability. Fine. And second, so depends on the load, it will just increase the number of containers, or it will just decrease also. That means it can scale up and scale down automatically. So that is one very important feature Kubernetes is having. That is auto scaling capability. Auto scaling. Third, this is very, very important, guys. When you are doing the deployment, production deployment, so sometimes it may go wrong. That means whenever you just by mistake, if you do wrong deployments, so wrong code will go and sit in this production environment, which will impact on the business. Just to avoid such kind of issues, what we can do, we can just roll back the changes immediately before impacting on the business. We can just minimize that impact at least. So that is called rolling back mechanism. Rollback mechanism. And again, fourth one, zero downtime. This is very, very important, guys. Zero downtime means, so whenever you want to release new features into this production environment, you no need to pause the application. That means you no need to bring down the application. You no need to stop. You no need to disturb. Without disturbing the running application, you can just release your changes. So that is called zero downtime. There are other advantages also. These are the main features Kubernetes is having. So these features make Kubernetes very popular deployment tool. Kubernetes is very, very popular deployment tool. Trust me, if you're a master in Kubernetes in future, that means coming 15, 20 years, you no need to change the technology. Whenever you want to change the company, whenever you want salary hike, you can get it with Kubernetes. Because no client is accepting production deployments without Kubernetes because of these features. Every client wants to maintain zero downtime in their application. So that will be possible only with Kubernetes. And rollback mechanism also will help a lot. Because when I was involving in deployments before DevOps, before Kubernetes, so we used to struggle in this area. So if anybody can do mistakes, if you do a mistake in the production deployment, it's very difficult to roll back the changes because it will go and sit in the production environment. It's very difficult to identify that wrong code, and it's very difficult. So that is the reason every client is forcing IT companies to use Kubernetes in their production deployments, in their production environments. I hope you understood what is Kubernetes, where we will use Kubernetes, and what are the advantages of Kubernetes. Fine. In next session, we will just see what is the architecture of Kubernetes. I will draw this Kubernetes architecture, then you will understand clearly. Okay, yeah, fine. So these are the advantages of Kubernetes. There are a lot of advantages. So we'll see one by one.